Back to politics today. So you have a little bit of homework to do this weekend. If you have not yet read the piece in the Texas Tribune, which came out on Thursday, entitled "Blowout: How a New Oil Boom is Transforming West Texas, Sending U.S. Oil All Around the World and Threatening Efforts to Fight Climate Change," you need to curl up with that today in front of your fire. It's supposed to snow. You have a perfect excuse to do that. One of the piece's authors, Kia Collier, who is with the Texas Tribune, along with Jamie Smith Hopkins and Rachel Levin with the Center for Public Integrity, joining us now. Kia, thank you for being here. Congratulations on this piece. Great work, yeoman's work getting all of this together. I want to start with one of the observations that was made in the piece, that our understanding of energy independence as it comes from politicians, and specifically Governor Greg Abbott, who again running for re-election right now, is not the same. His definition of energy independence maybe not the same as what you and I might think of energy independence as.
Right. One of the most surprising things we learned in reporting this piece is that most of the oil that's being produced in the Permian Basin and other domestic oil fields is all being exported. And that was made possible by Congress, which lifted a decades-old ban on, not a ban, but restrictions on oil exports in December 2015 during the last, oil bust. And so that opened up the floodgates for American oil producers to, they now have a global market, and they're exporting a very large share of this oil and gas. And that's because refineries here are not as equipped to handle the kind of crude that's being produced in the Permian. It's a light, sweet crude by industry talk, and refineries here are more equipped to process heavy, sour crude that's produced in places like Canada and the Middle East. And so we're not seeing refineries move to invest in new units to process that kind of oil. And so it's all being exported. So back to the American energy independence kind of argument, Governor Abbott and others have said, in advocating for this drilling boom to, continue, it's making us energy independent, but we're not using any of not any of the oil, but we're not using a lot of the oil that we're producing here. We're exporting a whole lot of it. Other industry people we asked, to respond to that said, well, it gives us a geopolitical advantage, which, certainly is true, but we're still importing something like 2 billion barrels of oil a year from the Middle East and from Russia and from OPEC nations, where we have kind of dicey relations.
Kia, as far as some of these communities who were involved in this piece, the Eagle Ford Shale and of course Midland and Pecos and all of that, are the city officials who you spoke with for this piece, are they kind of sending up a flare to the legislators who are meeting in January in this next legislative session? Help us out. This is growing too fast for us to handle. What's their reaction? What's their hope?
We asked state regulators and the Railroad Commission and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality about, staffing, whether they're prepared to manage this boom. The chairman of the Railroad Commission, Christy Craddock, who's from Midland, told me that after what they got last session, which was, they had a pretty significant boost in their budget, that they're fine, and she doesn't plan to advocate for more funding. But still, there's been legislative testimony from staffers of the Railroad Commission and also the Environmental Quality Commission saying, we're short-staffed and, we need more staffers in the field out there. And, they, one, I guess, piece of evidence of the lack of staffing is that it's largely a complaint-based system. I mean, they don't have enough people to do routine inspections of industrial facilities. I think the Railroad Commission has set a goal of inspecting oil wells every 5 years. I don't think they're there yet, but it's every 5 years, which a lot can happen in 5 years in the oil and gas industry.
Absolutely. Kia Collier with the Texas Tribune alongside Rachel Levin and Jamie Smith Hopkins bringing us this piece, Blowout: How the Oil Boom is Transforming West Texas, Sending U.S. Oil Around the World and Threatening Efforts to Fight Climate Change. Kia, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
We will post the piece in its entirety. Cozy up with it by your fire today. It is an important read on our website and, of course, along with this program, too. More Politics Today right after this.